always willing to come to the table with any of our brothers. We can't get this thing like in one day to see eye to eye on certain things, but any doctrine, any teaching, no matter what it is, if it's dealing with the book, we want to come together and sit at the table as teachers, as leaders, and iron this thing out, because we teaching different things all over the country. It's vastly different. You know what I mean? I know because I listen to every teacher out there. You know what I mean? And I know what we teach in Israel now is a lot different than what people teach all over the country. But I'm willing to put everything we teach on the table and let people examine it. You know what I mean? If it's not true, then you got to poke holes in it, because we trying to go with the truth. We trying to find out what is truth and roll with truth. You know what I mean? At the same time, that's what we do. Like we want to examine these things, because why? There can be no harm in it. Because everything we learn that is true is only going to bring us closer to the Almighty. That's all it's going to do. We just got to humble ourselves and be as a child and go back. Sometimes you got to go back and realize, like, man, I came out of Christianity, all that was false. Sometimes you come into an Israelite congregation and 80% of the stuff you learn there was false. But you won't know that if the scripture says that they are unwise, that, what's the word to use, that they measure themselves among themselves. I'll put in my own word. Y'all probably know the scripture I'm talking about. What that means is this: if I'm in a particular congregation and I only listen to that congregation, I don't know what the rest of my brothers have been talking about and doing. You know what I mean? If I'm only in XYZ congregation, I only listen to them, I only listen to our video, I only listen to that, then you'll never know. You'll never know what the Almighty has given to some of your other brothers and sisters of your own nation. You'll never know. So I don't discourage any of our people to watch or listen to anything, because it's only going to help and benefit us. Like these brothers with Israel now, they go home, we don't control, like, hey, don't watch this, don't watch that kind. Get any knowledge you can get from anywhere. If you learn something good that's going to benefit us all, take it back, we're going to use it. But at the most time, but if it's not, then we're going to poke holes in it too, so we can help our people not to fall into that trap as well. All right, so just real quick, we're going to hit some scriptures. We're going to talk about unity, why it is important, because a lot of the things we've been saying, why we've been talking about survival things, what the brothers talked about here earlier, because we know it's something called Jacob's trouble. We know that the Messiah is coming back according to the book of Revelation at what trumpet? Shout it out. The last trumpet, right? How many trumpets is in Revelation? There's 7 of them. So if he coming at the last trumpet, the first 6 trumpets, when you read it, it's woes that come on the earth. That means we're going to be here for all this stuff. So Christianity has lied again and told you, you're going to be gone, you ain't got to worry about all this trouble. That means you read through trumpets 1 through 6, and there's going to be some trouble on the earth. The Messiah don't come back to the last trumpet. So we got to make it. We got to sustain ourselves until then. A man's job, as our Michael would talk about, you know, as far as everything we got to do with our wife, another part of our job is protection. Every man is responsible for protecting your family. Now, we as a nation, as men, is responsible for protecting. You know what I mean? So who is responsible for protecting your family? You as an individual, right? But then we as a community, we as a nation, because all these sisters that we got downstairs, they all are our sisters. So you got to look at every single one as your sister. And we got to build that community back. Meaning, you know, if I see one of the sisters in trouble, we got to help. You know what I mean? Even if it's a sister you don't know and they not in truth, because we got to get that back. You know what I mean? How did they, what was it, like 500 little girls? How did 500 little girls get kidnapped? In what city was that? Was that DC or New York? I think it was DC. Yeah. How they kidnapped 500 little Israelite girls and nobody know, nobody said nothing, nobody say nothing. The whole community is gone. So we got to talk about unity. All right, so let's go to the book of Psalms. So it's a lot of things we could go into, a lot of things we could do, but we're going to hit this unity. I might touch on some other stuff very briefly as well. Psalms 133, 1 through 3. Yep. Book of Psalms 133. We're going to read verses 1, 2, and 3 when we get there. Oh, yeah. You got it. Hallelujah.
Psalms 133, verse 1. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down the beard, even Aaron's beard that went down to the skirt of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descends upon the mountain of Zion, for there Yahweh commands the blessings, even life evermore.
So it says how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. And that's what we have created here, and we want to keep it going. You know what I mean? We don't want this to stop here. You know what I mean? Because I feel like each of these individual people, each congregation, we got something to offer. You know what I mean? So in verse 2 it says, how precious is that unity? It is like the precious ointment that upon the head, that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard. So what was that ointment that ran down his beard? What was that? Who knows? Shout it out. What was that? The anointed oil. And when he got anointed, what did he become? In Hebrew. Right. And what else did he become? He became a priest. He became what else? Messiah. Right? Mashiach. Right? So when we understand in the scriptures from a Hebrew perspective, the Messiah, whose name is Yahweh, wasn't the only Messiah. There was many Messiahs all throughout the book. Everyone that was anointed king was a Messiah. You can't think of this book like we're Christians and in Christianity. Every priest was a Messiah. All right? Everyone. Every king was a Messiah. Every priest was a Messiah. All right, so let's go to the book of Zephaniah 2, verse 1, 2, and 3. Now, just to clarify, those other Messiahs are not, we don't have to go through them to receive salvation. But the title that they had was Messiah. Just like the title that many prophets has was Son of Man. Well, the Messiah was also called Son of Man. Well, the Most High called Ezekiel Son of Man. The Most High called other individuals Son of Man. Son of Man is a title that different prophets had. Messiah is a title that many people had. All right, Zephaniah 2, 1, 2, and 3.
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together, ye. Gather together, O nations not desired. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass at the chaff.
That's what we're trying to do right now. That's the reason why this stuff is on the board earlier. Before this decree comes forth, we need to gather together. All right? Gathering together, we want to define throughout the course of this what that looks like. Most Israelites think that means we're under the same roof on a particular Sabbath day, a particular holy day. That's not gathering together. But we want to define what's gathering together really is. That's gathering together for one event, but then when you go home and everything's separate, that's not the gathering together that the Almighty is talking about. This stuff is preparing for everything that we got to do as a nation. Every individual start out with their home, it reach out to our respective congregations, and it reach out to everyone doing the same thing across the country. Now when that time comes, what do we have? We just built the army. All right. If everybody doing this, even if we don't talk for a year, but all y'all been doing this, all y'all been training, all y'all been stocking up, all y'all been knowing how to have your bodies in shape, because you are your greatest resource. You go to any job, they say human resources. Right. You are the human resource. Meaning, if your mind right, you know what to eat, you know what to, everything you know what to do out there. Even when it comes to the stocking up, that's gonna run out eventually. But the land is rich. Everything we need is on our land. We get clothes if we know how to do with the land. We know how to do with livestock. We get food if we know how to deal with the land. We get water if we know how to deal with the land. Even if you're not by a body of water. If you dig down deep enough, you're going to hit bedrock. When you hit bedrock, you get water. Jacob dug a well, right? So go ahead, where we at?
Verse 2. Chapter 2, verse 2. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass at the shaft, before the fierce anger of Yahweh come upon you.
Before the anger of the Most High come upon us. Remember, when the anger of the Most High come upon us, what do we do? Who we send against us? The heathen.
Of the nations.
The Almighty punishes us by sending the heathen against us, right? Deuteronomy 28. What happened? He said, you have provoked me to jealousy by those that are no Elohim or no God. I'm going to provoke you by a people that is not a people. I'm going to send this people against you. And they're going to make you, they're going to oppress you in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things and put a yoke of iron on your neck. The Almighty punishes Israel with the other nations. All right? And that's what he's talking about here. Before his anger come upon us, go ahead.
Before his anger come upon you, seek Yahweh, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall, hold on, I'm sorry. It may be ye shall hear in the day of Yahweh's anger.
That's who we want to be. We want to be hid in the day of his anger. The rest of them going to get it. Why? Because they ain't been keeping commandments. But we want to start that now and be hid in the day of the Most High's anger. All right, that's what we want to do when we dealing with these last days. Let's go to the book of Daniel chapter 7. We're going to start at verse 1. Because Daniel chapter 7 is talking about these kingdoms that Daniel prophesied about.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and a vision of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea, and the four beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from the other. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings, and beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made a stand upon the feet as a man.
So we know that this vision is talking about kingdoms. So right, everybody should know what this first beast is representing. The lion is representing what kingdom?
Judah.
Not the kingdom of Judah, Babylon. Right? The kingdom of Babylon that was in power in Daniel's day. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And behold, another beast, a second beast, like to a bear, and it rose itself on one side, and had three ribs in its mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh.
Arise, devour much flesh. So this second beast was likened to a bear. That was the second kingdom that came to rule after the Babylonian kingdom. What was that? The Medo-Persian kingdom. Go ahead. Verse 6.
Verse 6. After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it four wings like of a fowl. The beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it. And after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the other beasts that were before it, and had 10 horns.
So this beast is doing what in verse 7? It says, After this I saw in the night vision, and behold, the fourth beast was dreadful and terrible, strong exceedingly. And it had iron teeth, and devoured and brake into pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. So these kingdoms are being represented by these beasts. And it's showing different characteristics of how these kingdoms will be. So if you take that verse, in verse 7, that fourth beast, would you want to face that beast? But you facing the beast every day. We living in the land that this is prophesying about, right? Because this was what? Talking about the Roman Empire, but we know the Roman Empire revives the same people today. In Switzerland, America, Britain, these same 10 European kingdoms or country is what Daniel was prophesying about here. And we're actually living in this fourth beast right now, but we live in comfortable. And we're not prepared for that. We act like we're not at war. All right? If y'all read books, it's something called Silent Weapons for Secret Wars. They warn against us every single day, and we don't even know it. But we're not even fighting back. Right? Because they warn us in a different way. They warn us in a spiritual way. All right? And nobody's fighting back. We're not even recognizing. You know what I mean? My Ach Yashua is spiritual combat. We got to get ourselves together first, and then we got to get our spirit together. We get our people together. We're at war every single day against this beast. All right? Verse 8, it said, And I considered the horns, and beheld, there came up among them a little horn, before whom there was three of the horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were the eyes of a man, and the mouth speaking great things. All right, pick up in verse 9 for me.
And I beheld, till the thrones were cast down, and the ancients of days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire.
All right, so what are we saying? We're saying that, look, we're living in the time of this fourth beast. All right, so what we got to do is we got to begin to unite together. We got to begin to unite together because Jacob's trouble is here. Jacob's trouble is coming, and we got to be prepared for that. All right, so with that being said, we're going to stop here for the sake of time. Let's pick up in Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4. So So we know about those beasts. The first kingdom was represented by the lion. It was Babylon, Medo-Persian, the Greek Empire, and then the Roman Empire. All right. Daniel 12 and 4. After we finish that Daniel 7, we go through those beasts. We see what's going to happen. They're going to do all these things. They're going to change times and laws, which that fourth beast has done. We know the Sabbath day is the seventh day of the week. They the ones changed it to Sunday, the first day of the week. Admittedly so. All right. We know the calendar is the calendar the Most High gave us. The first month is what? In the springtime. It always falls in March or April. They gave us another calendar that say January is the new year. They changed times and laws. Right? That's what they were prophesied to do. So that's what they did. Now let's pick up at Daniel 12 and 4.
Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the books, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
So everything that the Most High told Daniel, right, was going to happen in the days of Daniel. In these kingdoms going to happen in order the way that Daniel prophesied. But then in verse 4 of chapter 12, he said, to seal the book, even to the time of the end, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. We're in that day where this knowledge is increasing, right? Years ago, not many people knew who we were. Now it's starting to become common knowledge. Our Most High is waking up his people every single day. Every day. You could walk out now and go to the store, you run into a brother with fringes on. That didn't happen 15 years ago. It didn't happen so much, 16, 17, 18, 19 years ago. But now you see that, right? Because the Most High is waking up his people. As the Messiah said, when the fig tree starts to blossom, in that parable, the fig tree was Israel. And we're blossoming, right? But we can't let Satan come in and divide us. We already divided enough. We can't let the evil one come in and divide any of that stuff. So any other misconceptions that we thought about each other and this and that, we got to understand our brothers. We got to start to come to the table. All right? And a lot of things could be clarified if we just sit down at the table. For any leaders that's not willing to come to the table, they're not real leaders. For any leaders that's not willing to come to the table and sit with your brother and map out what the Most High wants us to do, they're not real leaders. For any leaders that tell you, don't listen to nobody else, we're the only ones that got the truth, they're not real leaders. COINTELPRO. That's how they work, So we're not against any of that. All right, so Daniel 12 and 4. So he said to seal it to win the time of the end. So how we got to know what's next? We got to go to the time of the end. So when Daniel stopped writing what he was talking about, where is it picked up at? In Revelation. John the Revelator picked it up where Daniel left off. Where Daniel left off, Revelation picks up. Let's go to Revelation chapter 13. Because John is picking up with that same kingdom that Daniel left off at. John didn't pick up with the Babylonian kingdom or the Medo-Persian kingdom, the Greeks, the Roman. He picked right up with the fourth beast, which represented by the Roman Empire, and he started writing according to that perspective in that day. Because that's the day he was living in, and he prophesied well into the future, to the time that we're living in. So, 13th chapter, let's start at verse 1.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns. That sounds like what we left off at Daniel, right? What we just read about them heads and the horn. Right, go ahead. And upon his head the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads, and it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon that gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And the power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth and the blasphemies against Elohim, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life, written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
So who gonna worship him? Those whose name are not written in the book of life. Go ahead, verse 9.
And if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast come out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwell within therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
So the first beast whose deadly wound was healed, that was the Roman Empire. All right, so when we go back, it says they shall all worship, from many kindreds, tongues, and nations, right? They're going to all worship. All right, look at verse 8, and it says, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life. Your name got to be written in the book of life. Verse 10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So we understand that in the kingdom that the Messiah will set up, Israel will be the number one nation, right? And all other nations will serve the nation of Israel. All right, keep going. All right, where you left off.
Verse 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of man, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound, but a sword, which was wounded by a sword, and did live.
So I'm reading all of this to show y'all everything that's coming on the horizon that we got coming up in these last days. And if you know this, these things were put here for a reason. They weren't put here to scare you. They was put here to get you ready. So you could be ready. You could organize yourself. You know what I mean? And do the things that we got to do to be ready. That's what it's about. So that's where it connects to unity. Because nobody want to go through this themselves. We want to go through this with as many brothers as possible. You know what I mean? When we out like the brothers talking about, we would be in the mountains. Wouldn't it be nice to go to the mountains and see all these brothers? And they all been ready. And they all been stocking up. Some brothers over here know how to start a fire. Some brothers over here are like marksmen, shoot you like 200 or 300 yards away. Some brothers over here know how to do this. Some other brothers know how to build stuff. We good until our king come back, right? Because we're not trying to fight them. We can't beat this nation just like we couldn't beat Egypt in the day. But as long as the Almighty hide us in this secret place, right? Because all of Israel know in the last days there's something bad coming down the pipe. But how many Israelites, how many congregations, how many people, how many teams are preparing the people for it? Mentally, physically, just knowing what to do, knowing all these different things. Who is preparing for it? They're just saying, hey, this is going to happen. This is what they're going to do. Now what? What you going to do? You know what I mean? It's like if you know something is coming, you got to prepare for it. You went to school, you know, a bully gonna beat you up at the last day of school. That's what they used to tell us. Like, when we was in elementary school, I'm gonna fight you on the last day of school. And then want to get suspended. Like in 6th grade, like, you just gonna be dreading the last day of school. Might as well just go to the boxing gym all them months, learn some karate, learn some boxing. Last day of school come, you good. Right. Going to school every day. Like, I'm going to school. So this is what the Most High is telling us. This stuff is gonna happen. Be prepared. This is gonna happen. Those that are not prepared are like what? The 5 foolish virgins. I read it earlier. Oh, we didn't get our lamb, but you knew he was coming. Right. You knew the wedding feast was coming. So we know this stuff is coming, so we gotta prepare. Our women are our responsibility. You know what I mean? So it's either your wife or it's your sister. That's how we gotta look at every single woman. These children are our responsibility. We gotta go back to that frame of mind. All right, now let's pick up where we left off. Verse 15, I think.
Verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many that would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Now, verse 16, this is something that I may disagree with a lot of people. You know what I mean? I don't know people teaching, but different things I heard out there. I don't believe the mark of the beast is going to church on Sunday. I don't believe the mark of the beast is an embargo. Read verse 16, huh?
Verse 16, And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or forehead. That what?
That no man might buy or sell, say he that had the mark,
That
or
no
the
man
name.
could buy nor sell, save or except he has the mark. Let's just stop right there for a second. So the mark of the beast is tied to the economic system of the world, not just America, of the whole entire world. The economic system will be tied to this mark of the beast. It's not out yet as far as, mandatory, everybody got to get it across the world, but the prophecy say it's coming. So we talk about this food, stuff like that. The Europeans realize that's why they doing what's that? Monsanto, GMOs, all that stuff. They realize if we control the food source, we control the whole world. Everybody gotta eat. Everybody gotta eat every day, no matter what nation, what kindred, what tongue, what people. When you can pay through Monsanto, pay all the farmers not to grow real food and grow them GMOs with all this stuff. Now they control it. When they control that, they control the people. They know that through the welfare system. They know that through all the different trials and tribulations that they have done on society throughout time. So that's what they're trying to do. It says that no man could buy nor sell except he have this mark. And we all know when you read in the scriptures, whoever get that mark will not receive eternal life.
That's right.
You can't get the mark. So how do you eat? How do you get water? How do you live? How do you do all these different things? Because honestly, it's all on the land that we walk on. It's all right under your feet. But they disconnected us from that. You know what I mean? They disconnect us from what we can eat, what the clean herbs are. What some herbs are poisonous, some herbs, some green leaves are you can eat, but you gotta know the difference. You know what I mean? So we gotta prepare. Right now it's the time to prepare. While everything's okay, it's time to prepare. Can't wait till that day and prepare. It's too late. Like the brother said when he was doing the thing, he said by the time the first day, it's too late. All right, so it says again in verse 16, and he called us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. People say, well, wait a minute, mark. I could go to the Old Testament and see the word mark and find out that the word mark only means not a literal mark. It means something symbolic. Well, in certain places in the Old Testament, it does mean something symbolic. That's why we got to look up words, because the word mark that you may read in the Old Testament, when we look up the Hebrew word behind it, for those that don't know how to do that, you take a concordance, you look up the word mark, whatever you look up, it'll show you the verse you're looking at, it'll show you the Hebrew word, you go to the back of the book and you look it up. And sometimes it does mean something symbolic, but that don't mean you take it to Revelation and mean it's symbolic. We look up the word mark here, it's not a symbolic word. When you look at the word mark in this verse, the Greek word is tragma. I might be pronouncing it wrong. My Greek not real good. All right, and it means, I get you 1 second out. And it means to etch or to stamp or to scratch. So something is going to be physically etched in, scratched in your hand or forehead. That's what it means. Go ahead. What you got?
Concordance again. The concordance number. Do you know it?
G54A.
Hallelujah.
G54A. Can you read the definition for me out?
Yeah, this is Mark G54A. Charagma, a stamp, an imprinted mark of the mark.
Imprinted in your hand, physically, or forehead. So this is not a symbolic mark. This is going to happen. It's something that's going to be stamped in, imprinted, or in other words, here, etched in. Something is going to be physically done to your right hand or forehead that you will not be able to buy or sell except you have this mark. And when that happens, I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to be with just me and my family. I don't want to be with just me and Israel now. I want to be with all y'all. I want to be with everybody that believes in I want to be with anybody that believes in the commandments and believe in Yahweh.
That's right.
And we could build together. We all been doing this. That's where the unity comes in, because the Almighty said, I'm going to force you to unify through oppression. That's why our people did better in the 60s, because we were forced to unify. He said, you can't go to the white waterfront, you can't go to the white bathroom. We was good. We had our own thing. We had Black Wall Street, we had this and that, but now we could go to integrate and all that stuff. We feel like we don't go over here. Now we got to beg our people to support our business.
Come on, break it out.
You know what I mean? But when they separated us through that oppression and through that we better than you stuff, then we united. The Almighty knows the nature of our people, and He forced us into these situations to make us do what we should have did in the first place. right? Don't we raise our children like that? Like, okay, you being hard-headed, this was gonna happen. I told you it was gonna happen in the first place. He told us right here what's gonna happen. We gotta be ready for it. All right, verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. What is the number of a man? His number is 666. What does that mean? That means that, see them Hebrew words up there? From right to left, it says Shabbat, Shalom, Yisrael. Brothers right here might want me to do it like this. There's a marker right here. No, marker right here. My brother last night said he don't like to hear Shalom. He want to hear Shalom. Right? So that means I got to do this. Because I actually seen it written both ways in Hebrew. That's good, huh?
Yeah, I was
I
good
know
on
you
it.
read it. I'm messing
Both
with
sides good on it. Yeah.
So it says Shabbat Shalom Yisrael, right? So these letters all have numerical values. Every Hebrew letter has a numerical value. So when we read here, 666 shall be the number of his name. That means what? In ancient Hebrew or in Greek, Greek had numerical values as well. In modern Hebrew, they still have numerical values. The person that's going to cause these things to happen, his name written in this language, when you add up the numerical value of his name, it should add up to 666, which is 666. This is what the Almighty is telling us. That's why he said, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. What is the number of a man? His number shall be 666. That's what that is talking about. All right. We know that you could take it all the way back, which some people have done, as far as the vicar of Christ through the Roman Empire, different things like that. When you write that in the original language, that also added up to 666 as well. All right, so let's hit a couple more things. I don't want to be too long, but I want to show you how we should be. All right, so let's go to the book of Maccabees chapter 4. Because our brothers, a couple thousand years ago, was going through some of the same stuff that we about to go through. Some of the same stuff that we've been going through. And so they left down a great example of how we need to be as the Muslims. First Maccabees, yep, chapter 4. As Mark was talking about, you got to be valiant men. You know what I mean? You got to be valiant at that time.
So I missed that scripture.
First Maccabees, chapter 4. Hey, Ach, if you turn that thing, the AC will come on too, on the wall right there.
Yeah, I turned this one.
Oh, yeah.
Like, both of them on. You know, they be on their own little thing.
Somebody mind cracking that door right there? All right, so we just gonna read verses 28 through 35.
First Maccabees chapter 4, verse 28. The next year, therefore, following Laish's gathering together 70,000 choice men of foot and 5,000 horsemen, that he might subdue them. So they came to Idumea and pitched their tents at Bethsura, and Judas met them with 10,000 men. And when he saw the mighty army, he prayed and said, Blessed art thou, our Savior of Israel, who didst quell the violence of the mighty men by the hand of thy servant David, and givest thou hosts of strangers into the hands of Jonathan, the son of Saul, and his armor bearer. Shut up this army in his hand of thou people Israel, and let them be confounded in their power and horsemen.
Whenever we go out to do anything, we seek the Almighty first. We pray to the Almighty first on our behalf. Go ahead.
Make them to be of no courage, and cause the boldness of their strength to fall away, and let them quake at their destruction. Cast them down with the sword of them that love thee, and let all those that know thy name praise thee with thanksgiving. So they joined battle, and they were slain of the host of Laishah, about 5,000 men, even before them that were slain. Now when Laishah saw his army put to flight, and the manliness of Judah's soldiers.
He saw the manliness of Judah's soldiers, right? No nation can stand against us. The average one of us will be the average one of any other nation. Like it's actually known, right? Look at any combat sport. Why we always winning?
Right.
But at the same time, why we always losing as a nation? Why we always losing? Because of why? We didn't keep the commandments. That's it. So we don't advocate going out, going against anybody, but we got to be there to defend ourselves and defend our families at any time. All right, and we got to be even willing to do this. Keep reading out.
And how they were ready either to live or die valiantly. He went into Antiochia and gathered together a company of strangers, and having made his army greater than it was, he purposed to come again into Judea.
Any people that are willing to die cannot be made slaves. Any people that are willing to die cannot be truly oppressed like that, right? That's the reason why over in the East, the Muslims, they can't really subdue them the way they want to. Why? Because they believe and they believe so much, they willing to, put on the bombs. If they can kill 5 of you, they kill themselves. You can't oppress a people like that. You can't make a people like that slaves. You know what I mean? You can only make a people slaves that are scared of death.
The Haitian Revolution.
Exactly.
They weren't afraid to die.
Exactly. So at this point, when we get to this point, we got to be at that point. Because we believe. If we believe we going into Abraham's bosom, we believe that with the Almighty, we got to stand on his word, then we got to fight for our people. You know what I mean? At this time, we got to fight for our people. So, and that's the unity that we're trying to bring together. The unity is this. The thing that some congregations has been doing as far as preparedness, that's the only thing what I'm trying to press upon on you by these scriptures is showing, look, this attack is coming. This attack came in the past. This is how it's going to come. I'm trying to impress upon, it's not a doctrinal thing to show different things. I'm trying to show that, look, all these Israelites congregations, all these people waking up all over the country need to be in unison on one fact, that we got a common enemy. And we got to protect ourselves, and these are the ways we got to do it. Because when that time comes, like I said, we done built a mighty army from coast to coast. If everybody do this, but those that don't want to do it, that's how you know who the agent is. Those that don't want to do it, that's how you know who's not real. Right? Because they building a religion. Right. We're not building a religion. Israel now is not a religion. We're part of a nation of people. A ministry. You know what I mean? We ministering to our people. We're not a religion. We don't operate as a religion, any of that stuff. But some of them do. It's like, oh, okay, this all about money, this all about this and that. We don't deal like that. So just wanted to kind of just bring this out. So the last thing, this is what we're waiting for. Let's go to 2nd Address, chapter 2. Because after all that preparedness, all that bad stuff, it's going to be a good time. It's going to come. All right? It's going to be a time where we're going to be redeemed. It's going to be a time when we free in the book of 2nd Address, chapter 2, but we got to wait on our king. All right? We got to wait on our king, then the redemption comes. Not before that. All the way up before that, it's going to be rough times for us in all these last days. All right? So 2nd Address, chapter 2, we're going to read verses 35 through 48.
2nd Esdras, chapter 2, verse 35. Be ready to reward of the kingdom, for the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore. Flee the shadow of this world. Receive the joyfulness of your glory. I testify my Savior openly. Oh, receive the gift that is given you, and be glad, giving thanks unto him that hath called you to his heavenly kingdom. Arise, rise up, and stand. Behold the number of those that are sealed in the feast of Yahweh.
That's the same feast he invited them to in what is it, Matthew 25? The number that's sealed in the feast. Go ahead, Ach.
Verse 39. Which are departed from the shadow of this world and have received glorious garments of Yahweh.
They have received glorious garments. What them garments going to look like? They're going to be white garments. Right head, I mean, from all the way down to the foot, right? Oh, yeah. You read that in Revelations. Go ahead.
Verse 40. Take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of Yahweh.
So shut up those that are clothed in white, and what did they do? They fulfilled the law of the Most High. They have kept the law. Those are the ones going to be clothed in white. Go ahead.
Verse 41. The number of thy children whom thou longest for is fulfilled. beseech the power of Yahweh, but thy people which have been called from the beginning may be sanctified, set apart.
These people have been called from the beginning, that they may be hallowed, they may be set apart, they may be sanctified. Because there's a such thing in Scripture called predestination. This is such thing in Scripture. What he said to Jeremiah, he said, I knew you when you were formed in your mother's womb, or in the belly of your mother, however it's written. All right. So some people the Almighty has called from the beginning, even from the very beginning when He created all the spirits. All right, go ahead, bro.
Verse 42. I, Esdras, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people, whom I could not number, and they all praised Yahweh with song.
And there was on Mount Zion a great people He could not number. Why Mount Zion? According to Zechariah, the Messiah is coming back. His foot gonna be where? On Mount Zion. All right, and these people that's with him that learned this song was the 144. Go ahead, Al. Verse 43.
Verse 43. And in the midst of them there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? Verse 45, he answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off mortal clothing, and put on immortality, and have confessed the name of Elohim. Now are they crowned and receive palms.
So they has confessed the name of Elohim. Now they crowned and receive palms. That's who they are. Verse 46.
Then said I unto the angel, What young person is that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hands? And he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of Elohim, whom they have confessed in the world.
So that's who get white, right? The ones who have confessed the Son of Elohim in the world. And that's the Messiah. We have confessed him in the world. We have also kept the law. Now they are all have crowns on their head, and they all clothed in white, because they have immortality now. Go ahead, Al.
Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of Yahweh. Then the angel said unto me, Go thy way, and tell my people what manner of things and how great wonders Yahweh thy Elohim thou hast sought.
So that's what we want to get to. That's what we all want to get to, but we got to make it to that part. What we got to do, we got to confess the name of the Messiah in the world, right? And we got to do what? We got to keep the law. And the Messiah's name is Yahweh. We prove that all day long, right? The Messiah's name is Yahweh. Anybody that's dealing with ancient Hebrew would say Yahweh. If you're dealing with modern Hebrew, it might not say Yahweh. But 2,000 years ago, when they gave him his name, there was no modern Hebrew. The modern Hebrew they use in today was not in existence 2,000 years ago. There wasn't all of those, what they call vowel points. There wasn't there. The Masoretes created those, right? So what we do with straight ancient Hebrew, his name is Yahweh, and that's the name that we need to confess. Also, when we look at this, throughout the scriptures, we see the word Lord, L-O-R-D, right? When you see it, if you're looking in the KJV, well, I know a lot of people have, all capital letters, capital L-O-R-D, all capital letters. What's the original Hebrew there? It's 4 letters, right? Yahweh. Yod, Hey, Wah, Hey. All day long, you look it up over 6,000 times. And the Almighty said, do not take my name in vain. We read that commandment all the time. What does that mean? Don't take his name in vain. What does the word vain mean? Useless, worthless, or meaningless. If you never call the Almighty by his name that he wrote 6,823 times from Genesis to Malachi, you made it useless. You took it in vain. You're breaking the commandment. It says, thou shalt not take my name in vain. Vain means useless, worthless, meaningless. What name did he give us? Who got the name on? The name should be around here. So when we look at all day, yo. Right? This is the Most High's name. Every time we look in the KJV and you see Lord in all caps, this is what was written in ancient Hebrew, these 4 letters. Now this is the other part I want to say today, and I'm going to end it with this. Our people, the Israelites, our ancestors, actually translated the scriptures in ancient times. They translated it 2 different times that I know of. They translated from ancient Hebrew into Greek. That translation is known as the Septuagint. Guess what happened? Every single word in ancient Hebrew, they worded in Greek, except for one word. Guess what that one word was? This. They never wrote the Almighty's name using Greek letters because they recognized, according to Exodus chapter 3, verse 14, 15 to 16, the Almighty said, "This is my name and my memorial forever." They recognized that you cannot change the Almighty's name. They didn't even use Greek letters equivalent to it. It's written in all Greek. When you look at the archaeology, it's all Greek letters. Except every time they wrote the Almighty's name, they only used ancient Hebrew. Therefore, what do we learn from that? There's another translation known as the Aramaic translation, the Targum or Peshitta. That translation was the same thing. It was translated from ancient Hebrew into Aramaic. Every word they took from ancient Hebrew to Aramaic except one word. The Almighty's name again, they still wrote it in ancient Hebrew. The only people that translated scriptures that changed the Almighty's name and used characters in another language were not Israelites.
That's right.
Were European companies that did that. They took that and wrote L-O-R-D.
All right.
Every time Israelites ourselves, our ancestors translated scriptures, they never changed this name. So what do we learn from that? We do the same thing. So when we see L-O-R-D, we say Yahweh.
That's right.
Because this is the great thing that our ancestors left down, a record of how to do this thing. So the Almighty's name don't change.
That's right.
And that's a known fact. The Almighty's name do not change. If he gave us Yahweh, it's Yahweh. That's what it is all day. Yo, hey, wah, hey. Just make a Y sound, H sound, W sound, H sound. Yahweh all day. All right. So we're gonna end it here. But I want to just say thanks for everybody for coming out to this gathering we had.
Come Hey, can I get a picture of everybody out there?
This what I suggest. We all just get in a group, like we're gonna take the picture, record it, and then I just screenshot it so everybody can get in. That's how we make doing that at the gathering, so everybody can get in.
All right, y'all. So this is what we gonna do too. We about to do some truth music. These brothers, we got Tassel Gang here. We got these brothers, YMGM, right?
MYMG.
MYMG. I listen to y'all music. I just didn't get
Oh,
these brothers do music. Anybody else, we do some true music. We gonna chill out, have a good time. We got price and juice downstairs, maybe somebody. So we're gonna do it up here so the women can stay downstairs. We're gonna bring up the lights and bring up the speakers and get this true music going.
Let me ask something real quick before we close out. I want to Toda, Tawada, everyone that came out to the gatherings. We got people down from Florida, all through Ohio, Pittsburgh, Louisville, other states in between. We got the Louisville, my ox down from Louisville, Kentucky. Of course, my ox from Miami, Florida. We got the other ox from. Okay, he said Louisville. He was like, don't you have to tell him where I'm from. Yeah, but we got ox coming. Yeah, all kind of places.
I have a question. You say ox, you mean like bison ox, or do you mean like donkey? Oh, okay, I'm
He tried to he wants to make sure we use the right terminology. He real big on ours. Make sure we get our language right.
Okay, I'll do that.
We need you, I can't.
Yeah, so I want to relate to the modern, relate to the patio as well. Wherever setting them in, it's kind of a mixture here. But I just want to say again, man, Toda, for every one of you all coming out these last 2 days, they went by too quick. It's not over yet, but how many people from the meet and greet to this point got some stuff out of this event? That happened at this event. I'm talking about, man, if you weren't here yesterday, you missed out on so much, like, for real. I would recommend to everybody that you stay plugged in. You don't want to miss the stuff. Like, I'm talking about the business knowledge that was shared today, to take somebody from rags to riches in a year or two. The information I'm sharing about fighting with Ach Yash and Ach Yosef, oh man, you miss it. You can't afford to miss this stuff. You can't afford not to be here when these gatherings happen. Like my Ach said, I'm at everything. You can't miss these gatherings, especially for the people that's here within a 100-mile radius. They not here. Right. What are you doing? It's free. And it's free. I didn't charge no money.
It's brotherhood.
Yeah. If I was saying $30 or $40, and Yosef, we greedy, he charges money. That's a shame. It's a shame, right? We got ox over here that pay $100 to go to Passover. Ox like me that paid $100 to go to a cult. You know what I mean? And then bought a plane ticket and all that stuff. Like, still, we say, come out for free. People don't appreciate it.
Well, to be honest, even the meal downstairs that everybody ate cost a lot.
It costs money.
Didn't ask for
It costs money.
And that was the sister's idea, because it was like, well, we're not going to charge nothing, so everybody's got to bring their own thing. And the sister's like, we make food anyway. We just make extra. How many runs you think it'll be?
Hallelujah.
Maybe about 70, and they took care of it. So,
And check this out. And just this out. And I believe personally. This is personally. Hold on. Some of y'all brothers might not like what I'm about to say. I believe personally, we should at least kick out at least $5 a piece, man, of our bread to at least come back to those sisters and say, hey, look, y'all ain't asked us for nothing, but here y'all for y'all servitude. We got sisters here at this congregation that they use that as their ministry. It's just to provide food behind the scenes. Everybody eating, everybody else. And if you don't got the money, I ain't talking to you. I'm saying if you have it, I don't care if it's $1, $2, $3, whatever you can, man. Let's walk downstairs and let me hand them sisters something. I told y'all, man, I put out a 20, like, you know what I'm saying? And he has to be saying another. But I'm just saying, like, man, let's show some respect. I was gonna ask you, like, how much? This is an upgraded room. We was downstairs. How many people was in that small room yesterday? You can move your legs a little bit more here, right? I'm just saying, told I. So I'm just saying, man, I want to give these. I appreciate you guys, man. You are serving to the Most High, man. True service to the Most High. Look, man, let me ask you something. How much you think it'll cost to feed 70 men? Especially if you from Columbus, boy. Warrior lion type dudes, boy. I'm telling you. Man, you know the scriptures in the building. I'm probably only like. Hey, y'all know in the scriptures when it describes the men that was with David, he said one of them was like a lion type dude. Man, you got some these ox up here, boy. They ain't playing. So yeah. So y'all still asked me to do this. Nobody asked me to do it. I just took it up on myself. I want to go down there and help Israel down to replenish what they just did. All right. So hallelujah. So this will help the sisters out and help everything else. And actually, I was coming to you. I wanted to ask you, because moving to this room, slack y'all. Can we have a little bit of order to close out? Can we have a little order to close out in the back? Because people don't know what this man just did. He rents this building downstairs for a certain fee every month, right? But in order for him to get a bigger room, he got to pay more money. He didn't tell me, Ach Yosef, man, I'm gonna actually need you to help me out with some more money right there. Because he's a servant, because he wanted to see the people. I had the hotel room blocked. Guess what? We were supposed to be in the hotel for these 2 days. But everybody didn't book on a timely fashion. People booked at other hotels. We didn't meet our room block. So guess what? Israel now is like my last resort. And the ox said, ain't no problem, man. Come on up.
Hallelujah.
Ain't no problem. Like, you can have your gathering at my place.
Hallelujah.
So, you know what I mean? So, yeah, between the upstairs room and the food and everything, you know what I mean? I'm going to make sure y'all get this and he can distribute it to the coach downstairs, all right? So with that closing, for those of you that want to stay around, we got NYMG, we got Tassel Game, we got anybody else that want to stay around, do some music. Ach Yashua, he can't wait. He passing out CDs already. He's like, man, I can't
NYMG in the building.
Yeah. So he's back there passing out
NYMG
CDs. I just
in
want
the
to say from
building.
the bottom of my heart, man, I love y'all brothers, man.
Ready to hear this fire.
Anybody that
Kingdom
personally want
music.
to build with me, please let me get your number. Like, if you in this room, and not just me, get your other brothers' numbers.
That's
there.
right.
Mingle, man.
That's right.
Yeah, man, I'm in Columbus, man. I need a place to stay, man. I'm in whatever, man. Like, I got Manchester, Ohio back there. I got Oxford, Pittsburgh now. You know what I mean, man? My network grows every event. And guess what it's gonna look? We also too, don't want to leave out this. Tassel Gang, Beloved Dawood, February 22nd through 25th, Ach Benaya, Inspired by Torah, Hebrew Wine. They doing an event back in Cincinnati 8 weeks from today. 8 weeks. So this is what I'm asking you all to do. Those of you that's on Facebook, Tracebook, all right?
Pretty much.
Share the event. Share it like you're on steroids. Share it like you got a stuttering problem. Share it. So people know and say, what in the world is going on in Cincinnati? What they out there doing? And then they come out, they got different events, they got Hebrew wine, they got wine tasting, and the events goes on and on. Also, too, I'm gonna let Ach Ty-serv talk about that, but I want Ach Yashua to come up as well. I was talking to him earlier about Ach being able to get prepared to fight in the period war. I want him to explain it himself because he can do it better than I can, all right? So I'm gonna let the Ach come up, and then Ty-serv can talk about the brew out, and then we're gonna close it out. And we got, about an hour before the Hebrew hangout, about 9 o'clock? Or we want to get straight into it?
That's only 6 feet.
So it's 7 o'clock now. You want to get straight into it?
Yeah.
He's like, get it over with. All right, go ahead, Ach.
We could like.
Yeah. Shalom, Ach, real quick. My name is Jamar.
Order down, y'all. Order, y'all. Listen up.
Came down from Columbus with Uncle Come right here, and also Yahweh and Western David, Partizania, and back there, y'all done.
Warrior, also the red.
Warrior.
Okay.
Masha.
Come.
Masha.
What? Come on, sir. Good. So, anyway, real quick, my background is Most High Woke Man 2014. My particular service to my nation is martial arts training, like Ach Yashua was demonstrating yesterday. Started training martial arts since I was 14. Been doing it since then. So what we do in Columbus is I train Ach in martial arts and life as well. We have another brother back in Columbus by the name of Black Yoda who does firearms training. So what we want to do is we want to train not just the Ach in our gates, but travel around to the different gates around Columbus and give those brothers that's doing the same thing or helping teaching as well.
Hallelujah.
That's it. If y'all want to get my contact information before we bang out, we swap numbers.
Right up there on the board.
I was about to say, write it.
Write it down.
Want to write it on the board? Say firearms training. We're gonna have to hit that up. I don't know. You might be hitting these innocent bystanders. Shooting with your eyes closed. Shabbat shalom. Shalom, my key. All right, peace out. Yeah, that's cool right there. All right. Hallelujah.
2062.
Okay.
062.
Hallelujah.
I'm gonna put a big enough for everybody to see.
Okay.
So, you wanna bring out anything else on that?
Yes, sir.
I see CDs. I'm thinking, I can't buy them today.
Hey, y'all want it online? Hey, do you want your number online on the YouTube?
That's cool. Or you can hit me up on Facebook, Shamar Bond.
Well, no, I'm just saying, we live streaming. You want them to
No, that's not better, is it? Man.
Scoot it over a little bit. Should be good.
It's on there.
Okay.
That's 206.5.
Yeah, all right, so 614-500.
Got that?
2062. All right, 614-500-2062 for Shatad or Officer Shamar to assist with personal training within your local city gates.
You use the red marker.
Okay, come. I'll do that too. Throw out them a lot.
Hallelujah.
Let's try to sync them. All right, so here we go. 614-500 2062 for Shatar Shamar. All right, Shamar for local city gates. Is that better? Hallelujah. For local city gates martial arts training. All right, stationed in Columbus, Ohio. All
Hallelujah.
right.
Hallelujah. All right. Get one of these brothers to close it on out, man.